Hey y'all, so I saw this TikTok and it was like, what's a word that you have been mispronouncing and then you finally found out that you were saying it wrong? And this just makes me think when I applied for a job at Bed Bath & Beyond and I got an interview, and this was like a long time ago, like kind of fresh out of high school, okay? So my brain, was not fully developed. Anyway, so I was like looking for tips and tricks on resumes and interviews and stuff, and I kept seeing the word rapport, okay? If you know it's spelled Rapport. There's a T at the end of that, okay? And so I'm over here like, oh, okay, like this word is gonna make me sound smart. I'm gonna use it in my interview. And girl, I did not know the T was silent. So I'm over there the whole interview like, yeah, I established good rapport. Like I kept you saying report, like thinking I was so smart. And you know what? I did get the job, but then I found out I was mispronouncing it wrong. Like how freaking embarrassing. So yes, it is rapport for y'all that don't know. Now you know.
Let's do a little story time of something that just happened to me recently while I make dinner. I'm gonna prepare a salmon with some dill sauce. Pat dry the salmon. Let's save the other one. Ew. Okay, so I have a pan with oil and it's heating up. Oh my God, I get a knock on my door and I look in through my peephole and it's this guy you took up with 4 years ago. Like, sir, what are you doing here? While the salmon's cooking, we're gonna prepare a dill sauce with some sour cream, some dill. I am not social media friends with this guy. We are not in contact in anything in forever. The salmon's ready, I think. Here we are. So in here with our sour cream, dill, lemon zest, salt, pepper to taste. He said it's because he lost my number. I told him I had to go and I will not be texting him.
I was basically an accident. When I was born, my 5 siblings were already in their late teens to early 20s, and my parents were both 46. I was never abused in my childhood, but I was neglected and my entire family resented me. My parents didn't think they'd get pregnant again, but here we are. I was never looked after for by anyone and basically had to raise myself. No one ever played with me, spent time with me, or anything. They never bought me anything significant. It was always hand-me-downs. I realized this as I got older and I focused on myself. I thought that something was wrong with me because my siblings all received love and attention, so if I improved myself and did things for them, maybe they'd accept and love me too. I always got the best grades, made sure I did all my chores, always kept my room clean, and so on. However, nothing I did was ever good enough for them. We celebrated my father's birthday yesterday. My siblings and my mom wouldn't be around until we went out for dinner, so it was just me and him. I cooked him breakfast and lunch, did all the chores, and bought him a tie. I'm only 16 and on a budget. The most he came up with was a pathetic thank you. I could tell he wanted me to leave him alone, so I did. Finally, we all went out to dinner and they all had a good time while I sat in the corner ignored. This is how it usually is. When we got home, I broke down and started crying in front of them.
Am I wrong for telling my boyfriend that he should have covered up his tattoos if he wanted any respect from my family? Oh, I'm already calling you the asshole here because that already just sounds really degrading and mean, and so I don't like that. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years. We're polar opposites but managed to work through our differences in the past. Okay? For some context, he's almost 90% tattooed up to his neck, and comes from a difficult background to put it mildly. Today, he's employed and doing well for himself, but his upbringing was quite rough. I wouldn't describe myself as posh at all, but I come from a family where image, looks, and your accomplishments matter. However, I'd say I'm a little more casual than them. A few months ago, I finally got the courage to introduce him to my family. This was a huge deal to me, and I told him that first impressions would make or break everything. I told him that he will cover his tattoos, no ifs, ands, or buts, because my parents are super old-fashioned. I bought him an outfit for the night to ensure he looked presentable and classy. We had a practice run, and I told him what he should do and shouldn't say, how to talk, how to address any of my dad's concerns, etc. Oh my God, what is this?
Am I the asshole for wearing my engagement ring to work? After lunch, I got pulled aside by one of my coworkers, Sierra, 35, who said that I was being unprofessional by showing off my ring. She told me I was being insensitive to my other female coworkers who wore their engagement rings and had smaller diamonds. I was obviously confused and told her that issue isn't my problem. She said I was being rude because it made her wedding ring look cheap in comparison to mine. I'm like, girl, that's not my fault. She also told me that the silent rule of big diamonds should only be worn after 5 years of marriage. I guess she wouldn't know. She don't have a big diamond, so. After she was done talking, I told her I am never going to take this ring off and she can suck it up, as you should. And then she started crying and walked out of work early. As she should. I talked with my girlfriends and fiance about it, and I should continue wearing my ring, but I still feel terrible she was crying. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for forcing my parents to disown my gay brother? My parents are very traditional, so my brother coming out shocked them. They absolutely demand blood-related descendants to carry on the family name. Me and my kids all have my husband's surname. Adoption isn't an option, neither is surrogating, and they only accept a proper marriage. Out of the blue, my brother contacted me, and he told me that our parents will disown him unless he fixes their relationship with me so they can lay claim to my children, since he is the reason why I drifted away. He actually flew to my state and tried to make amends with me, but I told him to F off, that he's dead to me and so is the family. He is now calling me petty, homophobic, and that I'm ruining his life. Am I the asshole? Uber driver stalker, let's not meet again. So this was a few years ago when I was 16. I called an Uber to head to this beach club my parents and I were a part of. The Uber driver picked me up and wouldn't stop talking to me about how he moved here from India. I really didn't mind and I talked to him during the whole ride to be polite. He kept going down some weird roads, but he kept blaming it on his GPS. And I was too afraid to call him out on it. I was like, sir, pull over. He finally got me to my destination. I said goodbye and I left the car. Little did I know he would park the car at the place I was. Creepy Uber driver stalker, let's not meet again. Little did I know he would park at the place I asked him to drop me off at, and he followed me down to the beach. He eventually found me on the beach and started talking to me and he wouldn't stop. He told me how pretty I was and how he was looking for a wife. Weirdo. I was too young and scared to feel like I could yell at him to go away. I just stood there hoping someone would notice how weird this looked and how scared I was. Then he finally leaves and he drives away. Later that night, I get notifications that he found me on Facebook, Instagram, and tried to add me as a friend. I deleted the app and blocked him. Since then, I only use Lyft. I tried finding a number to get him blocked from Uber, but there was no phone number to call. So to this Uber driver, let's not meet again.
Hello everyone. As we all know, this channel can't be monetized, so please support me by subscribing to my other channel. Like and watch my videos. I will greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
When I was younger, we had this older cousin living with us. She was so lazy. All she would do is watch novelas all day while taking care of us. And then she would force us to do the chores around the house so it looked like she would do something. So one day we were like, nah, fam, we finna stand up to her. We've had enough. So the next time she told us to do the chores, we're like, nope, we don't want to do it. She's like, oh, really? She poured so much rice on the floor, made us kneel down on top of the rice, put books over our head for hours. Literally, my knees bled. She got dragged.
Am I wrong for telling my girlfriend to cover up her body when strangers enter the home? Oh, you are treading on thin ice, my friend. Here we go. I am This is the first sentence. I am fully aware that the title sounds sexist, but hear me out, please. My girlfriend comes from a wealthy background and grew up with maids, chefs, chauffeurs, etc. I was raised in a completely opposite environment and still adjusting to dating someone like her. When we're not with her parents, we spend a lot of time at one of her apartments. Here's the issue. My girlfriend likes to walk around home barely wearing anything, which is fine, awesome even, but she does this even when the help are around. For example, last month, her family hired a new driver for her. He stopped by the apartment to introduce himself and she was only wearing her underwear. Keep in mind, this is the first time they've ever met in person. I felt awkward, he was visibly awkward, and she didn't give a shit at all. She was casually chatting to him while scrolling away on her phone. She does this all the time. She doesn't think she needs to wear any decent amount of clothes at all when people that work for her are around. She will casually walk around wearing just a thong or a tiny crop top. Just a crop top, nothing else. Okay, see, you saved yourself. The title was a little fishy, but now I hear, I understand your concern. She even does this with complete strangers. One time, she opened the door for the delivery guy wearing only a see-through gown. You could see everything. Afterwards, I talked to her about it, and she was utterly confused as to why I felt uncomfortable. Then she laughed and told me to stop being jealous, baby. She even said that I'm unreasonable. We had another discussion about this yesterday, and I told her that she probably wouldn't feel comfortable if I did the same. She said that she doesn't understand why I care what her staff think and that it never even crossed her mind that this is inappropriate. She told me that she only does this in the comfort of her home and not in front of actual people. An example, people that don't work for her. She got kind of mad at me and vented to her friends. According to all of them, I'm weird for having a problem with this and I'm an asshole for telling my girlfriend to cover up. Somehow, I'm the villain of the story. So, am I really the asshole here? Am I wrong for firing my sister after seeing her blog and not rehiring her without an apology? Basically what happened is I read my sister's blog. It was sent to me by a friend of mine who was asking if one of the characters was me. Spoiler alert, it was. It's a couple of years old and really popular. She doesn't use our family's real names, but they are very similar and use the same first letters. So think real names Kathy, Julia, Marissa, and Brad, and then the fake names being Kathy, June, Marine, and Bob. It's descriptive enough of our lives and what we do for work that my friend identified me from it. It's mostly about her and her life, but there is still a lot about us. A year ago, I had an abortion. It was during the lowest point in my life so far, and only she and my husband knew about it. She swore to me that she would take the secret to her grave. Yeah, she wrote a whole entry about it. A couple of months ago, she and her husband got laid off due to world events. I run my own business that wasn't really affected, and I offered her a job there to help her out. She's not qualified in my field, so I essentially made up a position for her so she could have a steady paycheck. She basically does data entry and other random tasks online from her home. Her blog since then has basically centered on how much